Yeah. So
So
wait,
what about change?
change. What about change?
Well, change.
It's a good topic. We
Thanks.
were just sitting here trying to figure out what are we going to talk about today. And I said, let me turn on the record. And then you come up with change.
With change. So, I mean, it's for us right now, it's a brand new year.
Brand new year.
We're both going through some
Woo!
change. TCS is going through change.
Yes.
And
Yes.
change, at least for me, can really bring up not necessarily wounding, but it can bring up wounding.
Yeah.
But it seems to bring up old behavior that is just habit.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Change is hard. Change is hard.
It is.
Yeah.
Especially if you actually embrace the entire process,
Yes.
because change is more than just changing a circumstance.
Yes.
Because if we change the circumstance, we also have to do some internal changing.
Yes. And change, what am I like change with purpose or purpose or so what came to mind when you were saying that is growing up the way I did in so much chaos, things changed all the time. I'm not a big proponent of things just changing spontaneously. They're really that's really hard on me, as you know that
Mhm.
about me. However, change happens, especially when you walk with spirit. Change happens all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yes.
All the time. And when you were talking about you don't like change because of the way you grew up, you may have seen me laugh, and I wasn't laughing at you, but I was laughing because the way I grew up, not a lot changed. My
Oh,
mother
really?
changed. Yes, my
That's so
mother
foreign
changed
to me.
around the furniture a lot, and that was
That's
that's
change,
how
but
she kept change in her life. Um, but no, there was not a lot of like drastic change that happened growing up. Things were pretty regimented.
oh,
And
oof, not in my house.
I I like change.
Yeah.
Um, I have gotten into the very bad habit though of not allowing change because of what it did. What's that word? Demands. What it demands of me.
Okay. See, now this is so funny. I don't think we've ever had this conversation.
I think you're right.
Yeah, which is really bizarre, but I mean, it's good, but it's still bizarre. Because in my life, as you know, as soon as something starts getting uncomfortable, I'm ready for change. Ready. I'm gonna change. I'm changing direction. I'm doing something different because that's just what I lived in. That's what I grew to know. As even if something gets not even if, especially when something gets too comfortable, I have to look around for something to do different. And that's learned behavior. That's from the chaos, from the alcohol, the drugs, all the fighting, all the everything that happened in my family growing up as a small girl. Things were always different. Changes were constantly happening. You never knew what was going to come next. I didn't know what was going to. So I never got to that place of just peace, of just calm. As you would say, peace and neutral.
Peace and neutral. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't realize, wow, I didn't realize how much I still do that. how much, it really gets to me, like
Right.
that internal, I have to do something different now. It's calm. It's, and then on the other hand, oh my gosh, on the other hand, um, when my children were small, I tried to keep schedules as much as I could because I knew how important it was for them. When you grow up
Right.
in a certain way, you either turn out to be like your parents or you go the other direction. I always tried to go the other direction. So I always tried, and they have talked about how it was very predictable in my home, but it wasn't for me
Mhm.
personally. How bizarre. What a crazy thing. Anyway, I just got us off topic, I think. What you
No,
talk about with change?
no, you didn't get us off topic because we were talking about change and how, well, I guess where we were headed, or I was headed, was how we maneuver through change.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
our habits come exactly from how we grew up,
Yes.
whether we go that way or the extreme.
Yes.
Uh, something you were saying made me think of the serenity prayer
Okay.
of grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, uh, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
And this might be a simple example, but I always thought, well, I can change my hair. So I changed my hairstyle all the time.
Good time.
All the time. Once I got it cut the first time, then I was always changing it.
Uh-huh.
Um, changing out the furniture, changing out the dishes. I have control over that kind of change.
Yes.
Did not even realize what that really meant, of course, until I got sober,
Ah,
because that is a
what did it mean?
huge, huge thing. But it's about changing how I act, controlling my actions, controlling
Interesting.
or changing me, changing how I perceive things, how I act, my behaviors,
Huh.
and not changing anyone else, not worrying about
Interesting.
changing anyone else, because that's not my lane.
Right.
My lane is me.
What do you think you were actually trying to change by changing the furniture all the time, changing your hair?
The
What
way I felt.
okay. So was there um like a I don't know if dopamine or whatever, but there was a physiological sort of change with
Well,
that made you
so I don't know what the actual thing would be,
uh-huh.
but it would be new and different. And if it was new and different, it had to be better.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Now
just
that's
new and
coming.
different. And that um I'm going to say the adopted belief
Uh-huh.
that if it's new and different, it changes everything.
You are new and different,
Yes.
or at least the potential is there to be new and different.
Yes.
Right.
And not even realizing that there's so much more to it.
Yes.
And I can be new and different regardless of the outside.
Well, yes. But and aren't we sort of taught that way? Even uh society tells us, you have to have bigger and better, and like
Sure.
shopaholics aren't looked at really like they have an addiction, not necessarily. It's just sort of um people have a lot of stuff.
Yes.
People have a lot. And even like clearly I've never been to a cosmetic surgeon, but that's a big thing too.
Nor have I.
We're aging gracefully, thank you very much. The way I think people should. But that's another thing people do too, is they change their appearance constantly.
Yeah.
You know, the hair, nails, that I think is a that's a little on the, I would put that a little more towards self-care and self-kindness and just wanting to sort of feel good. But when you go under the knife or you're getting botulism stuck in your
Shot into your face.
yeah, you know, that's going like I think there's probably something a little bit deeper, but I would think that would go on that more extreme than changing the furniture. But that would go to that, if it looks better on the outside, if it looks a certain way,
Right.
then that's going to change me on the inside. And it really does not.
It doesn't.
Doesn't at all.
It doesn't.
No.
In my experience,
Mhm.
what it can do, what it has done, is it brings light to those things that you so desperately want to change internally.
Yes.
Because at some point, that adrenaline rush, that dopamine, whatever it is that happens in that newness, you realize it didn't work.
It didn't work. And then you have to do more and more and more. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like a spotlight shines on what really needs to be changed. And, you know, we can't look at it for any longer than just enough to get blinded by that light, because it's painful.
And fear sets in quickly.
Quick.
And when I say fear, I really do, because I've had people say, I'm not scared. That's not fear. I'm feeling doubt, or I'm feeling that. That's all. Those of you who've listened to us for a long time, there's really there's two big, there's love and there's fear, and all the other behaviors and emotions and whatever add up in one of those two spaces. And so but it very possibly, once you know, you look at yourself and you think you need something physically to look different, I would encourage everyone, and especially as we're getting older, it's not so easy all the time to look in the mirror anymore, you know, and the wrinkles and this isn't where it's supposed to be anymore, or you know, it is
the jowls.
Yes,
the jowls.
Yes. And it is where it's supposed to be. For my age, it's where it's supposed to be. But for some reason, we think, we go to that place. I would love to see. So in spirit, there is a group of ladies, the ladies of love and light. They are the most beautiful, amazing spirits ever. And I just have chills because they've come in around both of us, and they are, everyone sort of sees them differently, but basically they are all the female ascended masters. The feminine, so it's feminine energy. And they are passionate, they are body, they're just who they are. And there's no apology for who they are. They have tough love when they need it. They also have amazing compassion and love. And they're just that type of woman that I want to be. Like, for me, they're such role models.
Here.
They dress the way they want to dress. And, you know, like I see them sometimes, like they'll come in, it's almost like they're going to a party, you know, and they've got like animal print clothes on, they got big bobbly earrings, and they've got, you know, they might have some funky hat on, and they're, you know, some of them are like a little overweight, some of them aren't, some of them are tall, some are short, like everything imaginable. And they're just who they are unapologetically beautiful. That's who I want to be.
And we see them in some ways, we see them as they are, that we see, but the outward expression, like the
Yeah.
clothing,
Yeah.
I think we see them differently due to our own experiences.
Yes. And what we want. Like, that's the old broad I want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care to wear leopard print.
No, but I do. So I see them that way.
Right.
Like that's the old kind of old broad I want to be. That's the grandma I want to be.
See them in the different body types.
Yeah.
And carrying themselves how they are and embracing how they are.
Yes.
And I have been jumping on a trampoline with them, with most of them in high heels.
I love that. Love that. In meditation, of course, y'all.
Yes, in meditation. In meditation.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're fabulous. And they're so amazing. And for me, they are role models. They are that beautiful woman who ages gracefully, who doesn't put on airs or try to have that, Birkin bag or, whatever it is. They don't, it's just not that. It's not about any of that.
Mm-mm.
And I'm so reminded of that often when I go through those. I don't know how we got to the ladies of love and light, but they're fabulous. We started, I guess, with change, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, because we had been talking about that outward change and how it can bring that spotlight on those things about us that we want to change.
Yes.
And what's coming now is some of those things that we want to change is what makes us unique.
Sure. Yes. I'm also, what's coming now too is sort of the opposite of that, can be as almost like a mirror too. Like, so, okay, where my mind was going, and I didn't say it out loud. So if I need something to be, if I need change so badly because I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling boo-hooey, and I'm feeling victim-y and all of that stuff. But if I just go change this thing, I'm going to be so much better.
Yep.
That's like a mirror being held up, like, yoo-hoo, there's something going on. So please look at that. That's really Spirit's way of tapping you on the shoulder and saying, there's something for you to look at. What is this thing that's driving you? What is the why? What is causing this behavior? And then, so that's what was running through my brain. My brain runs very fast. And what also came is sometimes people do the opposite. They choose not to change. Like, they get really stubborn because that's a point of contention for them. Like, that's a statement for them. I'm gonna just carry around this crappy old bag forever because I don't, just to show you that I'm comfortable with this, or I don't have to change. Or do you know where I'm going with that? So there's that opposite too.
Yeah, it's like a what's coming is obstinance.
Okay, sure.
An obstinance to prove that you're okay, or to prove that you're fine.
And it's not the carrying around of a ratty old bag. It's why you're doing that. It's the why behind it.
The why behind it.
I have some cruddy old shoes that I refuse to get rid of. I refuse because they're the most comfortable things ever. And I am not, until those babies literally fall off my feet and there's nothing else there, I'm wearing them. And that's not the same thing. I love, they're just, although I'm sure I could look and say, okay, there's something going on there, sister. But yeah, they're just so comfortable, and I'm all about the comfort.
Mm-hmm. I just had to write myself a note because I think I have a new topic for sobriety.
Oh,
my sobriety podcast.
Yes.
Addiction and change, because there's the geographic change where I'm going to move to San Francisco, and I'm going to stop drinking. I move. That's my fresh start. I'm going to stop drinking, or I can't drink brandy anymore. So I'm not going to drink brandy at all. I'm just going to drink vodka.
Yes. Yeah.
I had to make that note because that's
yes.
all I can say.
That'll be a beautiful podcast. That will. Yes. If any of you haven't listened to her, to Mari-Lyn's podcast on sobriety, please do. They're absolutely fabulous. And you do put them in both places. You put them
I do. Yeah.
On as just a listening podcast, and on our YouTube, the Conscious Spirit podcast. Right. I do my own Pam Ponders. They're just on the podcast. And those of you who listen to that, you know how my brain works, and it's a little scary in there.
It is fabulous. It is fabulous. And I'm sure that most of you have listened to Pam Ponders, and those of you that haven't, please do, because it is Pam, but it is Pam spirit led. Yes.
Once beautiful. Those of you who know me can tell the moment that I click into my channel and I just start speaking, spirit speaks through me. Most people can tell that. Now you all are going to be listening to them and thinking, when does that happen? Yeah. Yes. But so speaking of change, I guess you could say change, right? I'm going through something right now. A pretty big change is coming for me. Mm-hmm. And I went to sort of spin out about it, and spirit stopped me. Now I spin. I'm for those of you who know sort of astrology and whatever, I'm a double air. So girl can spin. Right. So, and I'm like, if you look at my chart as a whole, and it'll give you all the how much air is in the chart, how much earth and whatever water. I'm mostly air. It's a little scary, but a couple weeks ago, actually, my healing team brought in this new what do they call it? Navigational system for our brain to help you navigate through difficult situations. And Mari-Lyn's always my guinea pig. I think I talked about this recently in a podcast. And then anyway, I got it, and boy, does it work. It really helped me. I started going down this path of everyone else has everything but me. Everyone else is doing great but me. Everyone else is successful except me. Like, it was just this victim. I just glommed onto victimhood. And that's what started getting me thinking about childhood and the chaos that was happening. And the reason I glom on, thank you, Spirit, for bringing this information, by the way. The reason I'll glom onto victimhood is because I can anchor into that and I can feel safe. As ugly as victimhood is, as ugly as pity parties are, it's not spinning around. It's solid. It's right there. I can ground into it. And the rest of my world can spin out of control. But as long as I'm holding on to that victimhood, I can feel safe. How frightening. But that's true. So those of you who grew up in a lot of chaos, I'd love for you guys to actually think about that. How did that chaos, how is that affecting you now, later in your life with change? When change comes, being in a fairly balanced, non-chaotic home like Mari-Lyn, how did that affect you? And then being in chaos like me, how did that, like, those are some great things to, I think, to think about, because we all have behaviors around that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then this new navigational system really kicked in and said, oh no, that's not the way to look at that. You're spinning down into some low vibration. That's not where you need to be. That's not who you are. It's time to, and to look at it this way and that way. And you're not a victim of anything. Just, you're not. So
yeah,
I worked that out pretty quick, which was really nice. But
and we always have to go to a lower vibration of some type to be able to receive that clarity,
yes.
and then to move to a higher vibration than where we were.
Yes.
I mean, not always. I mean, sometimes we can get clarity without having to go there, but it seems more times than not, we have to be able to drop down.
And not feel bad about that. I want to bring this in.
Yes.
If you are in that low vibration, you're in a pity party, you're in a depression, you're in a I totally suck, and everyone, whatever your verb, everyone has sort of their different type of, slope.
Right.
It's a necessary thing to go through.
Yeah.
And to look at it and say, wait a minute, why am I going here? What is this behavior? And I will bet you money that you've gone down that same slope
many times.
Like a plethora of times.
Many times. Well, and we have proven, Pam, that those bigger things,
yes,
we have to experience it to be able to let it go.
Yes. You have to understand. That was that podcast we did on just get over it, or whatever, blah blah.
Right.
Unless you understand it, it's really hard to do that. It's hard to pull your head out of your butt if you don't understand why it's there. So understanding the why. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage everyone, of course, if you start into that slippery slope and you're going down that slope and think you're starting to look at the world as everyone's against you, because that's typically, that's kind of that depression sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has everything but you.
Yep.
Kind of, look at that. Look at the why. Why would that be true? And I guarantee you it's not true.
Not true.
But why
not true?
Would that be happening? And how can you, something Mari-Lyn teaches, is how to shift out of that vibration, because that's a very low vibration, and you can shift your vibration up a little bit higher to get a little more clarity sooner. You're going to get clarity at some point, but I've talked about, I used to, I was on all kinds of, depression medication, et cetera, so I know depression, been there, and it's not sort of allowing yourself to stay down there, but you'll eventually get, what am I trying to say? You'll eventually get clarity, but you can get it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, if you're able to kind of help yourself.
Yes.
Recognize, ground, change that vibration.
Yes.
Yeah. I just this morning was trying, and why I was trying to grab onto anger.
Ah, what was that about?
Well,
You don't have to say the why because we are on.
change,
Yeah,
change.
change.
And I was uncomfortable
Yeah.
and something really silly
Anger
and
is another thing to grab onto that makes you feel safe, which is really
makes you
bizarre.
feel
But it,
solid.
yes.
Yeah. And as soon as I verbalized my anger, I heard someone, I heard my niece's voice say, I think you're just looking for a reason to be mad. I swear, I literally turned around like I was looking at her and I said, shut up. Because she was
Yes.
she was right.
Yes.
I was looking for something to,
Yes.
so I could grab onto some anger,
Yes.
so I could be anchored,
Yes.
because
Now she really didn't know what she was saying. I mean, she did, but it's there's more thought to it than that. I mean, there's a deeper
yes,
reason than just you're looking for something to be,
yes,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
it was true.
yeah, yes. Regardless, it was true.
And yeah, so as soon as I recognized that,
Mhm.
I started getting the clarity as to why I was so uncomfortable around the change that I was trying to make,
Mhm.
and why I was trying to make it, and all of the other changes that have to go along with it.
Yes.
And those are internal changes. I'm going to go to my brain. It's an internal thought process change.
Yes. Yes,
Because
that's good.
yeah, because I have some adopted beliefs. Okay, it's around my kitchen.
Okay, I'll just say it.
Just say it. It's around my kitchen. I have some adopted beliefs. And until I can change that,
Yes.
doesn't matter what I do in the kitchen, I'm
Right.
not going to be satisfied.
And for me, the most beautiful thing is that you have an understanding now. Light came to that issue.
Yep.
It's not your kitchen. I mean, I know you want to change your kitchen, and even after you work, you still might want to change your kitchen, but it's not about the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ultimately, it is not.
Right. Right. Yes. And who doesn't want a big, beautiful, yummy kitchen? I mean, anyone who cooks or bakes wants that the chef's kitchen. Everyone wants that because how amazing. But that's really not the issue here.
And I will say that I am
got me thinking.
I'm very grateful that I do not have to move the rolling microwave cart out of the way to pull the table out to sit at the table.
Yes. See?
Once upon a time, the table is no longer in the kitchen. I now have a dining room.
Nice. See? There's some positives there.
Yeah. But yeah.
Change is hard. Change is really hard. And I guess that's where we started this whole thing, right? And
yes,
if you're struggling with change, look to see what's really going on. What is really happening there? And we've just sat here and talked about how different change is for each Mari-Lyn and myself. And it is, I'm sure, for you as well, our beautiful listeners. Change is hard, but however, whatever little connector you want to put in there, if it's triggering you, if there's a real upset, it's not whatever that change is. It's not that thing. It really isn't. It's something else.
It's not. And if you find yourself continually wanting to change an outside thing, I urge you to really look in.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Because if there's something out there that we're not satisfied with, I can all but guarantee you there's something in here.
Yep.
that
Yes.
you're not satisfied with.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
it really even could be a lie.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, for me, what's going on right now is spirit is moving me. Spirit is changing some stuff in my life.
Yes.
Really changing. So the whole public speaking thing, I've been doing more, but spirit has some real plans for me. And I can't see the steps I'm supposed to take. And it scares the hell out of me. And I immediately go into a spin. And I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what's coming. And that freaks me out. That's another part that, the chaos as a kid, I never knew what was coming or not coming. And so I would have to grab onto other things, right? I'd have to grab
Right.
onto, envy, anger, depression, whatever, because then it would make it solid for me. And spirit really said, okay, you're not going there this time. You're going to be calm. You're going to just chill, and the next steps will come. And like, seriously, big changes, like spirits clearing my schedule, spirits moving people out of my life. Like, it's some big stuff going on here. And all my normal tricks of how I keep myself, like being envious of Mari-Lyn. That's an old behavior, not with Mary, just being envious of someone. That's something to grab onto. Oh, well, she has all this stuff and I don't. And spirit was like, stop. We're not, you're not going there this time. That's not what are you really envious of her? No, I'm not. I'm really super happy for her. So I needed to see that and go, okay, shit, I guess I can't grab onto that. Now what am I supposed to grab onto? I can't grab onto being angry because there's nothing to be angry about. I'm fine. Spirit has never once let me down. Not one time.
Nope.
And this is not the first time that I've been through this sort of, it's really like this dark space. And I don't mean dark in vibration. I mean dark as in I'm looking.
There's no light.
There's no light, right? I'm looking in the dark. I don't know what my next step is. And that's okay. That's my lesson right now, is to be okay with not knowing.
Yeah.
And I have a huge trust in spirit. I don't know if there's anyone that trusts more than I do, but at these times, it wavers. So change is a really tough thing for me. It's because I want to know something. I need a direction. I tell myself I need, but I don't need it. What I need to do is just trust that spirit is working behind the scenes right now. So I guess that would be something to tell anyone who's listening. When you get to that place of not knowing what's coming, not knowing where you're going, not knowing what's coming for you, whatever, that place that you feel like you need to, like you're so uncomfortable, like you're free falling, and it's frightening. I'm here to say, take a deep breath. Spirit's got you. That spirit, there's always a safety net. Always. You are not going to crash and burn. But look at the whys and try to, and see where it is you're trying to find some stability. Is it in anger? Is it in jealousy? Is it in depression? Is it in a pity party? Find out, look at those that will help you discern the why or the what. And then Mari-Lyn, I want you to talk about peace and neutral, because that's where right now I need you to talk about that.
Well, as you were
I need to find peace and neutral right now.
As you were talking about that free fall.
Yes.
Peace and neutral was like like flashing in my brain, because peace and neutral is really being at a place of no expectation, being in a place where you cannot feel overly anxious, where you don't feel overly fearful. It is a very generic place of where you can find peace.
Yeah.
And knowing that spirit's got your back.
Yes. Yes.
Knowing that you are right where you're supposed to be at any given moment
Yeah.
can really help embrace that peace in neutral. And we don't have to be in chaos, and we don't have to be in a pity party when something's happening.
Yes.
Taking that deep breath and just relaxing into it and just being. Just allow yourself to be.
Yes. And those of us who so my adult life is not chaotic, but
No.
I still have the behaviors from my childhood. Some people still in their adulthood, and you know who y'all are, still live in chaos. And peace and neutral is really scary. It's a really scary thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Like
It is.
my brain, it's I'm having a hard time sort of grasping that, which again, if you all knew my family, you'd think, really? Because I did not raise my children in chaos. I do not have a chaotic home. Everything is but my brain is chaotic. So that I held on to. I held on to for sure. Peace and neutral.
Peace
Yes.
and neutral. Yeah. It's and it can be a very difficult thing to learn
Yes.
to be.
Yes.
Because you can find that place, and then all of a sudden the inside of your brain starts screaming at you
Yes.
that something's wrong, something's wrong, something's wrong, because you're.
Yes.
And no.
And you run around
nothing's
like a
wrong.
crazy person trying to find some sort of shelter or some sort of something to grab onto.
Something to grab onto.
And the low vibrational stuff is always really easy to grab onto. So much easier to grab onto.
It is. Yeah.
And what keeps coming, and I know I mentioned it before, but it's coming again, is spirit moves people and things, including jobs, everything. Spirit will move things out of our life. I know that's a really big concept for people, especially like, say, if this feels like it's directly for someone out there, you are going through a breakup. You're going through a breakup with another person. Please know there's nothing wrong with you. Spirit has moved them for a reason. They haven't left you. There's nothing wrong with you. Spirit moved them because that person is not for your highest good. That relationship is not for your highest good for either of you.
Either person. Yeah.
But spirit does that with a lot of things, with jobs, with just your schedule. If you're a really busy person like me, I'm typically busy, and all of a sudden I find myself at this place where I don't have 1,000 things to do. Well, spirit cleared my schedule because there's some things that I need to be doing right now, and I wasn't going to make time on my own because it was so much easier to have all these things to do. So spirit went, okay, well, I'm gonna clear your calendar,
Mhm.
and then you don't
Would
have
it be
a choice.
would it be fair to say that it's almost like spirits trying to shove peace and neutral down your throat?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm hearing this ding, 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 ding. Lights are flashing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it took me a long time um to be able to grasp peace and neutral,
It
and
scared the hell out of me when the first time you said
it
it. Seriously.
it was spirit brought. It was absolutely brought to me by Cowboy, my main guide, and I had it actually written on my bathroom mirror
Mhm.
for months, to remind me that that was a goal,
Yeah.
that that actually was a destination that I needed to
Yes.
find.
Yes.
Um, and I did, and I lose my way often.
But never off our path.
Never off our path.
You
No.
all know that. We're never off our path. We just need to learn things sometimes. And
Yeah.
so we sort of feel like we're off our path, but we're
Yeah.
not. We never are.
Sometimes I just have to go looking for that peace and neutral, and it's, hiding under a fern or something.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And Mari-Lyn knows. So Mari-Lyn skydives, which just freaks me the hell out.
Well, I used to. I don't
Yeah.
actively skydive anymore.
No, but you have like 1,000 jumps or something.
No, I
Something.
have 500.
Oh,
I
okay.
have just over 500.
Is it your husband that has 1,000?
He has a couple thousand. Yeah.
Couple thousand. Okay. And that's a whole nother fabulous story of how they met.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
it's so cute. You'll have to do something on that someday, because I just think it's just so spirit led, like but it's fabulous how they met. But so something about skydiving. Oh, just the free fall, the whole thing that has always, like, heights, don't like them. Free fall, I'm always afraid I'm going to fall. So actually, just being in this free fall, whether you have that thing on your back or not with the parachute and whatever, scary, scary, scary to me.
And Pam and I view free fall so differently, because
Yes,
the
yes,
first time I heard her say, I feel like I'm free falling, and I'm like, God, I wish I felt like I was free
yeah, and I'm like,
because that is the epitome of peace.
oh, yeah. And actually, I will say I do view it a little differently today. I do. Spirit had Mari-Lyn. So sometimes you have to face those fears, right? To know that they're just unfounded.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Spirit didn't have me do it physically. Spirit put me in a meditation. Even in meditation, do not have me freak, because it scares the hell out of me. And it's not okay. Spirit had Mari-Lyn walk me through a meditation of jumping out of an airplane. Holy moly. It was so frightening, but I did it anyway. And I think all of that was so I could get to that do it anyway. That's been Spirit's thing lately with me is, oh, I'm sorry you're scared. Do it anyway. Sorry you don't know what your next step is. Do it anyway. Like, just walk, just go, just start looking, start doing. Do it anyway. Just do it anyway. That fear. But yes, free fall, even though it was beautiful. That meditation was beautiful. I actually was not screaming the whole time I was falling like I usually do. It was very controlled. It was very nice. It was very beautiful. I had absolute control. I'm in a meditation, for God's sakes. You could get wings if you want. You're in meditation. But that fear is something. Woof.
Yeah.
That helped me a lot. That it was like peace and neutral in the air. It was crazy. And before I'd looked at it just like, oh my God, this is the scariest thing ever. I'm falling to my death. But no, you're not. Sorry, I'm not sure why it went off in that direction, but that's my brain, going there. Sorry, I still have a little bit of a cough. So yeah. Anyway, change is hard. Change is also inevitable. Change is something to embrace. Change is something to look at. And why is this change happening? Are you changing like me, change to get away from something? Or like Mari-Lyn, are you changing to go towards something? Big difference, but both change.
Mm-hmm.
Both things are change. But really
both are difficult.
Both are difficult. Yeah.
Especially if we take it to its full progression.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of change is only part way.
Yes.
And the reality is that any change has an external and an internal component to it. And if we only do part of it, it's really not going to serve its purpose.
And is the change out of fear? Are you doing it like me? Like it's because I would run around. It was scary as hell to me to change. So running around in fear to try to get away from it still happened. It still happens. Change still happens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And if you're embracing change, that's not always a good thing either. If you're like forcing change and constantly making change happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would do that too, right? I would force change to happen because whatever situation I was in, I wanted out of. Instead of being peace and neutral, instead of finding whatever I was in, maybe it was some wounding that came up. Maybe it was a situation that really, for my highest good, would have been to stand there and look at and think, okay, why am I uncomfortable here? Why? Nope. Jumping out of there.
Isn't it interesting that sometimes we can be uncomfortable and it makes us run?
Yes.
Other times we find comfort in being uncomfortable.
We do?
Yeah. Like victimhood.
Oh,
being a victim is super uncomfortable. Being in victim mode is not a comfortable place to be.
However, we know what it feels like. So there is a certain amount of comfort in just I know this place. I've been here.
Comfort in the uncomfortable.
Yes.
It happens.
Yes. Oof. Yes.
And then other times there's uncomfortable that we run from.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Quite the conundrum.
Jinxie. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I sure hope that everyone was able to follow along today. I know you followed along with Mari-Lyn. She has a very balanced, calm way of speaking. Today I'm a little off. I'm a little pardon me, a little scattered. Like I didn't get grounded today before we started. I just said,
you know what? Neither was I.
Oh, but look at you. You're more grounded than I am. Yes. But you're very okay, not always. It's not fair to use that term, but more often than not, you are more controlled than I am. You get yourself a little more balanced. And especially today, I just came in like, whoa, sort of talk about free fall.
Keyword was control.
Huh?
The key word was control.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I guess that just sort of shows where I'm at in my life right now. It's a little uncomfortable being Pam right now. Things are changing, and I'm trusting. At least I'm trying to trust spirit. I do trust spirit, but it's uncomfortable. Things are moving in my life, and
Through that.
yes, in a huge way. And someday, when after it's happened and I've got through it all, I'll talk about it all. Right now, I don't feel even comfortable talking about it all.
You don't appear to be uncomfortable being Pam today. You feel very authentic.
Thank you.
I feel very controlled.
I think that's another part of growing up in chaos. You learn how to not look chaotic. You do. So there feels like there's several things going on right now, because my brain is totally chaotic. Physically, I don't look chaotic.
No.
And yeah. And at the same time, I have healed enough to the point where I think I can be authentic no matter what. So thank you. Yes. So even in my chaos, because I'm able to label it, that's what this is right now.
Okay.
I'm being honest. This is yeah, my brain right now. This is why I don't need drugs. That would just be I don't need them. Don't need them. Could you imagine this brain on drugs? Woof. Yeah, scary. Yeah. But anyway, thank you. Is this a good place to stop? I guess I should ask. Is there something you'd like to say?
I'm thinking this is wrap up time.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I appreciate everyone. I know Mari-Lyn does as well.
I do, absolutely.
Yeah. This is wonderful. Ready. I'm kind of ready for things to get back to whatever normal. The holidays, even if you don't, like, I didn't spend a lot of time with family or anything, but holidays it's still just in the air. It's still just in society. It's just holidays, people running around like goofballs, people driving crazily, people stressed out. That's all still around. Like, my husband's had extra days off, because, and that's always weird, having him home when he should be at work. It's like, can't you go to work? And I know all you married people out there know exactly what I'm saying when when you have those.
My husband's at work.
Yes. Well, his hours didn't necessarily change. Actually, he worked a little more than, yeah, where in my case, it's the opposite. They're home more. And I love my husband. I do. I have a very happy marriage, but it's maybe because he goes to work most days, 5 days a week. I don't know.
It is a huge change.
It is having
when a spouse retires.
Oh, yes.
It's a very huge change.
Yes.
And then when they choose to go back to work, things get a little back to normal.
Yeah. It's just everyone now that it's because I work from home now, where I didn't before. But now that I work from home, I have my routines that I do every day. I have clients and paperwork and just things that I'm doing. And when he's home, it's not like he's underfoot all the time. He really isn't. He's very thoughtful that I still have to work, still get to work. There's no have to. I get to. I love what I do. But it's just that energy is in the house.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah. So
it's disruptive.
Yeah.
It's not disruptive, but it is disruptive. Yes. I don't know what other word to use.
Yeah. It's not like having a 5-year-old in the house. at all.
Yeah, well, so
Speak for
no,
yourself, Pam.
it's not.
No, that was a good one though. No, it's not that.
Not, but any energy that's different from your normal routine
Yes.
can be disruptive.
And I typically have my grandson 2 afternoons a week. I have not had him in 2 weeks because I know it's horrible, but his other grandma has been in town, and I like to stay away because she doesn't get to see him that often. So the times that I would normally take him, I didn't get him. So it's really, there's a lot of things that are sort of up in the air at the moment. Yeah. So, I mean, I did see him. It's not like I haven't seen him necessarily. I saw him a little bit over Christmas, but yeah. So I'm ready for whatever normal is, I'm ready to get back to that. So
yeah, because the change that we had to endure through the holidays was a little difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very disruptive because it's everywhere.
And even
everywhere.
even simple change like that, change in our routine,
yes,
that is kind of out of our control.
Yes.
That can still be very difficult.
Yes. Even going to the grocery store, it's packed every day through the holidays. Yeah. Like, it's just, nothing is the same. You go to get a cup of coffee and you're in a line of 10 people. I mean, it's just, yeah.
So talk about a good time to find peace and neutral.
Woof.
Yes. Is during those times of change that are out of our control, that we have no control over, and being able to be in that place of neutrality and acceptance.
Yes. During the holidays, when I went out, I had to purposefully take my time and get myself grounded.
Yeah.
And really think about that. Where most of the time during the year, unless I'm, pardon me, unless I'm way out of it, I don't have to think about grounding. It's just it's just kind of what you do. Okay, I'm going out, and it's just sort of, I don't even think about it anymore. But during the holidays, I have to think about it. Yeah. Because everyone's so stressed out. Yeah. Yeah. So
have you ever, I don't know, this is so funny, but I just got this flash on a normal day. If I'm going out, I get grounded when I put my shoes on.
Oh, interesting. I like that.
Yeah. I am a barefoot person. I am barefoot.
Oh yeah, that's true. You do not like shoes.
No, I am barefoot all the time.
I'm going to say to our listeners out there, that is the perfect time to get yourself grounded. So when you go to put your shoes on, think about that. Think about becoming present, bringing your energy into your body, put in a grounding cord, whatever you have to do, and get yourself grounded. What a beautiful thing. I never thought about that. That's not when I do it, but I think I might start that now.
I had not consciously thought of that, but they just showed me this flash of me putting my shoes on, and
wow. Yeah. Mine's usually when I get into the car, and that's kind of the time of grounding. If I'm going out for a walk, it's kind of during the walk, the first little bit of the walk. I don't even think about it anymore. It's so natural.
It is. I don't think about it until those times when I realize.
Yes, exactly.
Uh-oh.
Holy. Yes.
I gotta hurry up and get to the stop sign so I can get.
Yes, get grounded.
Yeah. Because driving, when you're all out.
Oh, driving is a big time.
Ooh.
Driving, being in the shower, doing dishes, those vacuuming, you can really open up to spirit at those times. And if you're not grounded, it can be very dangerous. Even breaking dishes, sort of.
Yeah.
But if you get grounded, it's a beautiful way to open to spirit at those times.
Yes.
So for all of you who just got through the holidays along with us, we hope you got through them well and happy. And if you didn't get through them peace and neutral, we're hoping peace and neutral comes now. Yes.
Yes.
It's a
Yes,
nice
we
thing.
are.
It's a nice thing. Thank you so much for joining us for this talk. Yeah.
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 Thank you.
Yeah.
And all the links to find more information about us are below.
Yep. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And we're so grateful. So grateful. I don't know what else to say. Just so grateful. We just, it's nice to know that when we're talking, there's actually going to be people listening. Because at the moment it's just Mari-Lyn and I just looking
Right.
at each other talking. But there will be people listening, and we're so very grateful that you want to hear what we have to say, what Spirit has to say through us. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Thank
And
you.
we'll see you next time.
Until next time. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.